Welcome back everyone, hope you're having an awesome day, and today we regain our honor and do our in-depth character guide for our Fire Nation Zuko, the one you get right at the start of the game. We're going to go through his kit, mastery, arts, relics, everything you need to know to get the best out of your character. But before we start, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. It really does help the channel out and lets me know this is the kind of stuff you want to see as well. And as always, I'm going to leave timestamps down below if you want to skip to any part in the video where I talk about his relics and arts and stuff. You're able to go there and have a look. So without further ado, let's get into it. So we're going to go through his tags. He is a fire element with the offense affinity. He's also a member of the Fire Nation royalty, which is pretty cool, and an exile, and a member of the Aang timeline as well. On top of other tags and stuff for events in the future, he can give himself attack up, which is really handy for an offense unit, crit rate up, which is also very nice for an offense unit, increase his own turn bar. He has a cheat death mechanic, which is really handy. And he also deals empowered damage, so the more buffs he has, the more damage output he can do. In terms of unlocking him and leveling up, you'll unlock him pretty early on as you do one of the missions. I think it's after the tutorial, you'll do one mission, then you get Zuko. And you'll unlock him right away. Very good offense unit to get at the start. In terms of leveling up his skill level, as you summon on banners, you have a chance of getting a 4-star golden Fire Nation Zuko coin you can use to level up his skill level, increase the damage of all of his abilities, which is always really nice to have on an offense unit. And for his Ascension Materials, he requires candles, offense beads, the fire element, and also this dragon statue Fire Nation Balance Talisman that you can get in the boss battle store. If you like, I'm going to scroll across so you can see all the different stages of Ascension you need. Now we're going to run through his kit, and the really cool thing is it's pretty self-contained. We'll go through his main kit first, and then we'll do his mastery at the end. So his basic attack is You're Mine. Deal damage to one enemy, gain increased attack for 1 turn. I like this. There's no chance, there's no nothing. You hit an enemy, and then you increase your attack, which is really nice and dandy. 50%, nothing to scoff at, especially if you build him with a lot of high attack. He's going to be hitting really hard. Next up is his advanced skill, Banished Prince, with a cooldown of 2 turns. So it's a very short cooldown, actually. Deal 3 hits of empowered damage to one enemy. If this attack hits the front line, it will deal partial damage to the back line. So empowered damage is going to increase the damage that you deal by 10% for every buff on you, up to 4 stacks. So up to 40% increase for 4 different buffs. As you saw with his basic skill, he will give himself attack up, which is 1, and you have a chance to get extra buffs through his mastery as well on his passive. But the real cool thing, 3 hits, you 1, 2, 3 punch, and if you hit the front line, it's going to do extra damage to the back, knock out those pesky damage dealers, you know? And for his passive ability, For Honor, brought to you by Ubisoft, displays Unyielding Determination when at 1 health, once per battle. Unyielding Determination is essentially his version of the Avatar state. He will return from the edge of defeat as a cheat death mechanic, dealing damage to all enemies, and then heal himself for 30% of his health. He'll do like a little spin kick, that's what I like to call. He'll hit everyone on the enemy team. High damage output as well, especially if you build him with a lot of attack. It's going to hit really hard, and it's going to be really nice. Multiple times I've gone against Zuko, and he's knocked out one of my units because of this. So you've got to be really careful when you go against him. For his mastery ability, it is on his passive ability, For Honor. Mastery level 2, gain increased crit rate for 2 turns after attacking, a 2-turn cooldown. This is really going to help you get that empowered damage. Another 10% damage dealt if you have this up, which is really nice. Usually you start off with his basic attack, you'll get attack up, crit rate up, and then you follow through with an empowered damage, extra 20%, which is nice. Mastery level 3, immune to all negative states after Unyielding Determination activates. So once he does his little spin kick and he damages everyone, he will be immune to all negative states. Things like stun, things like knockdown, things like freeze, all that kind of stuff. He is immune to that. He will gain an immunity, which is really nice. Just lets him punch out all those attacks that he needs to without stopping, which is really good. And then Mastery level 4 increases turn bar by 50% when activating Unyielding Determination, and will permanently increase attack and crit damage by 30%. So increase your turn bar by 50%, you're just going to be able to get into the fight a little bit faster after this happens, and then increase your attack and crit damage by 30% for the rest of the battle, which is going to be really nice. High damage output, and if you get a crit, you will have crit rate up. If you get a crit, even more damage output, which is really nice. So a really good self-contained kit there, kind of feeds into itself, and because we know what his kit's like, we can go through and look at his arts. My personal favorite is a full war set. I rarely recommend this on a lot of characters, but because he has that cheat death mechanic, you can really utilize the 40% increased attack, which is just a basic increase, good damage output, which is good, but he'll also increase it by another 25% for 2 turns when your health is 25% or below. He has that cheat death mechanic. He's able to increase his attack, and then start pumping out a lot of high output damage. If you couple this with his Mastery 4, 55% increase to attack, which is essentially like having an attack up buff for free. So make sure to throw on an attack set, which is good. If you want, you could run a Deserter set. I find if you have that, it doesn't really help because he has that cheat death mechanic. I find the War set actually is better than the Deserter set in this very minor case. In terms of secondary stats, make sure to be pumping out extra attack. You know, for the map, I've got double attack on here. For the amulet, I've got double attack. For the feather, if you have a double attack, always good. If you have a speed one with an attack secondary, throw that on there as well. It's never too bad. As I said, you kind of just want him to get into that unyielding determination. So he does this little spin kick, and then he starts pumping out high damage, which is really nice. But in terms of support, I like running the Komodo Rhino, extra attack there. If you don't have that, you can run the Owlwolf as well. As you can see, though, this is a level 41, and it has higher attack than the Owlwolf. So that's why I like running the Rhino. Anything with high attack is always going to be nice. In terms of relics, we're going to go through my top 3, and then I'll go through some honorable mentions at the end here. So first off is our Journey for Purpose, which we got with the In Search of Strength event. Increase the health and attack of all exile units by 30%. Doesn't stack with anything of the same effect. And also heal for 50% of your max health when the caster receives a crushing hit. Now, this is only equipable on Exile, so you can use it on your Fire Nation Zuko. It will increase his attack by another 30%, which is just going to increase his damage output, which is nice. The health is not too bad either, and the healing is also pretty handy if you do start getting hit with like crushing hits and stuff, say from like Bo Chin or something like that. You're able to heal yourself, keep yourself in the fight a little bit longer, and if they do knock you down, unyielding determination is always a factor, and that's going to increase your damage even more. Plus this, it's just so much damage, it's amazing. Number 2 is going to be our Fire Lord's Throne, which is a 5-star relic, pretty hard to get, but if you have a maxed one out, increase damage dealt by 8% for every fire element ally on the team at the start of battle. Much like the Air Glider for Aang, it will still count for him, so that's at least an 8% increase. If you have a full team, though, that's a 32% increase in damage dealt, which is just amazing to think of. It's basically like Journey for Purpose. You're going to get that increase in damage output, which is going to be really good. And number 3, we've got our Tenacious Dagger, also usable by Exiles. The caster will gain 55% turn bar and heal for 25% of their max health when at 1 health once per battle. This is essentially a cheat death mechanic you can give to other Exiles, but on top of that, it'll make sure that you will guarantee you will take that turn. Gain 50% turn bar on your Mastery 4, 55% from Tenacious Dagger, 100% you're guaranteed to take that turn with, if you have the War set, with that high offense attack capability out there. You can start stacking up to like 10,000 attack and start knocking everyone out. It's really good. Now for honorable mentions, I'm going to throw in the Princess's Crown, which is a little funny if you think about it. Only usable by Fire Nation royalty, so very niche units here. But the real cool thing about this, I don't really care about the attack decreasing effects. I mean, that's helpful, but really I'm looking at that 25% chance to gain an extra turn whenever the caster attacks. When you do your basic attack, you'll have attack up, crit rate up, and then you take another turn, empowered damage, 1, 2, 3 punch. You pretty much knock out a unit first turn, which is always nice to have there. So a little just honorable mention I thought I'd throw here. And of course, here's Fire Nation. We have to mention the Beach Umbrella. This is just a nutso relic. Increase the turn bar and attack stat of all of allies by 15%, doesn't matter what faction they're part of, for 2 turns when any character on the field is defeated, excluding the caster. Because he has that cheat death mechanic, it's really hard to knock out Zuko and get this knocked out. And on top of that, if you start knocking out enemies on the enemy team, you're going to start boosting up your attack and your turn bar of everyone else, which is good. I like running this on more like sideline units and stuff, but if you want to run this on Zuko, you're not going to be disappointed. And of course, it wouldn't be a Zuko video that I've made without mentioning the Panda Lily. 55% chance to gain Echo for 2 turns when the caster's health falls below 20%. As you know, if he gets knocked out, he'll do his little spin kick, gain a little bit of extra health, and he could still gain that Echo. The cool thing about that is Echo is a buff, so it's going to increase his empowered damage. People thought I was crazy. There's method to my madness. In terms of best friends for Fire Nation Zuko, I will just mention this quickly. He is pretty plug and play. You can throw him into any team. He's pretty self-reliant in that, much like your Mind Aang, funnily enough. You can throw him in any team, high damage output, which is good. If you want, you could put him in a Fire Element team, especially if you have the Fire Lord's Throne, or even a Fire Nation team with that Beach Umbrella. It's going to be really handy. If you do want to build a team around him, Fire Element's never a bad idea, especially if you have that Fire Lord's Throne or even Fire Nation. with the Beach Umbrella, which I mentioned before. He also works well with the Imperial Soldier from the Triple Threat banner. If he gets knocked out, he will give invincibility to Zuko, which will make him not take any damage, not get any debuffs, which is good, just lets him pump out the damage like he needs to. And if you're running Journey for Purpose, Exiles is never a bad option as well. As I said, he's very plug and play friendly. Throw him into any team and he'll just do his damage and then go home. That's all he really wants to do. And as always, we have to mention Yue and Zero. Yue can revive him. I have found that when he gets revived, he will get Unyielding Determination again. I think that's not intended, but if it is, that's really powerful. And with Zero, he can just increase his health, which is always nice. And on top of that, his Fire Nation. Throw on the Beach Umbrella on Zero, you'll be doing quite well. In terms of counters, you do need to watch out for anything that can stop him from healing. A lot of your heal blockers are going to be good here that can stop him when he goes into his Unyielding Determination. He usually heals up to 30% health. If he doesn't do that, he's a very easy target to knock out then. Characters like Yue, funnily enough, is also kind of a counter to him. Firstly, if you damage him while you have Skill Nullifier, he'll do his little spin kick and he won't hit anyone, won't do any damage. And worst case, if you knock out Yue with that spin kick, you could revive someone a bit earlier than you wanted to. So just be careful if you do go against a Yue with your Zuko here. And also we do need to mention our Prisoner Tyro. He can actually give Fire Block to an ally, which is a 70% reduction in fire element damage that they will take. So obviously Fire Nation Zuko is fire element, so reduce any damage that he'll send out. He'll still do decent damage, but it'll be severely mitigated, so watch out for that. And of course, we've got our Big Daddy Oro there, can steal a little bit of turn bar from his enemies and give it to his allies. If Zuko goes into his Unyielding Determination, he'll do his little spin kick, gain turn bar, Oro will steal a bit, and that might be the killing blow for him, so just be careful about that. In terms of boss battles, you can use him in the Avatar State Aang and the Team Azula boss battle. For the Avatar State Aang boss battle, high damage output, you can burn through his health really easily, especially if you have Bo Chin leading the charge. And for the Team Azula boss fight, he can knock out Mei and Ty Lee pretty easily. He does a lot of high damage as well, and the real cool thing is that with Azula's Lightning Strike, it does 100% health damage, but even if she hits Zuko, he's able to do his Unyielding Determination and still survive that, and then come back with an increased attack, increased damage output, increased vengeance for his honor to knock out his sister. So if you haven't beaten it yet, make sure to utilize your Fire Nation Zuko. All in all, a very good DPS unit that you get for free, which is just kind of crazy to think about. The Unyielding Determination makes him super durable. The fact that he does very self-reliant on building up his own damage, even when he hits that Unyielding Determination. Big offense boost as well, which is really handy. You can utilize his kit as well to very easily get the turn requirements for your 3 stars on like your Arts Expedition and stuff if you like. I'll leave a link up the top for you so you can see how we build him for that. And of course, he does that really cool dance move where he does a little spin kick and it looks pretty cool. So it's always nice when it goes off. You're just like, yeah, I love it. I like that. Alrighty, thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Let me know down below if I've missed anything, any build ideas as well, any tips and tricks. Make sure to like and subscribe for the algorithm and for your honor. And I'll see you in the next video.